Hello, everyone, and welcome to FootballShock North London Derby special. I'm with regular host Bradley. What's up, Brads?
What's going on, man?
And to represent Spurs today, you know, the only North London team, my mate Nathan. What you saying, Nathan? You all right?
Good evening. How are you, sir?
Not bad, not bad. Brads, after Sunday, where are you after Sunday? I know you're pretty a couple of days on. How do you feel about the game? Are you scared of Spurs on Sunday?
Well, I mean, look, I think Sunday for me was a real turning point. The Arsenal bias glasses that, you know, we all seem to have on, you know, when we support our own clubs kind of come off. And, you know, out there on that pitch, all I saw was just, you know, a result of just failure from the board, you know, in terms of getting the right players in the right positions. And, you know, by mediocre players and then expecting nothing but, you know, mediocre results is an absolute joke. You know, that's 14th is where we are. And when I look at our squad, when you take Thomas Partey out, you know, that midfield is mid-table. So, you know, I feel massively disappointed, obviously, after what happened on Sunday. But, you know, the disappointment now is just something to be expected. So when you ask me how I feel about the game coming up on Sunday, I mean, I don't care. I don't care. It's difficult for me. That's what it's got to. Win or lose. No, hold on. Just listen to me. Win or lose, I don't care. It doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, you know, because unless this board shows some real balls and some real, you know, ambition, then it just means nothing. It just could be a game that we either get spanked in, which is looking very, very likely. You know, or as things, you know, everything goes out the window in a North London derby, who knows what might happen? We might be able to nick it. But again, I don't care, because until this board do something, it's difficult for me to keep, you know, following the club like religiously like I do.
Listen, through the bullshit of you not caring, I do agree that form goes out the window, in this game more than any other, because I've lost count of the amount of North London. I've lost count of the amount of North London derbies where there's a clear favourite going into it and the underdog wins. Like, it always seems to happen for this fixture in particular. Nathan, I know you're probably the most self-deprecating fan I've ever met. I think being a Spurs season old has probably drummed that into you. But you've got to be confident for Sunday. You have to be. You have to consider yourself favourite for this game.
Yeah, just to play up to how you've just described me. I do believe we will win. I think we will win. I'm seeing a lot of 5-0 talk on Twitter, which I'm not gonna support that. I think we'll win, you know, 2-1, 2-0. But if supporting Tottenham has taught me anything, it's that if Tottenham are going into a North London derby top of the league and Arsenal are going into it 14th, it means Arsenal are going to nick it.
Yeah, I agree. It's like I said, there's been a couple of times, especially over the last few years, where Arsenal have gone in this game looking fucking shocking.
Yeah, there was a couple of years ago. We played them at the Emirates and we lost 2-0.
Games like that.
Staffy scored one of them. I can't remember the other one. But yeah, we were far and away the better team at that point, and they beat us. I do believe we'll win, but then obviously there's a bigger problem at Arsenal. The game on Sunday, it's not the be all and end all. Like Brad said, it's not like you said. I don't like using the word crisis because it's used in a bit of a take the piss kind of way, isn't it? But there is a bit of a crisis there, and I just don't think this game is not going to define their season, and it's not going to define what's going on there at the moment. They expect to lose. So I do understand what he means I know you're laughing when he say don't care, but I do understand because there's a bigger issue going on, and it's at board level. As much as we'd like to take the piss out of Arteta, it's at board level. They haven't recruited correctly, and yeah, it's so yeah, their season doesn't hang on Sunday.
My thing is, I actually think it does, because if Arsenal win this game Sunday, for me, it turns their season around. In a way, this is a perfect game for them to have at this point. But if they go and lose like 3-0, I think Arteta's gone. I really do, because at that point, he's already under pressure. If you lose a game like this significantly, his position, in my view, becomes untenable. So I do think this wins their season. I really do.
Yeah,
This either the making of Arteta or the breaking of him.
Yeah.
See, that's where I would agree with you on that is what I wanted. This game will tell what kind of manager Mikel Arteta is, because after the last 3 games where we've picked up 1 point, and the team's just looking devoid of confidence, devoid of ideas. If you can't G them up for a North London derby, then what the hell are you doing being a manager of Arsenal Football Club? But I still back him as a manager, but I don't think he's been backed and supported, above and by board level.
The man is an orange peeler. I've told you this as soon as he got the job.
Yeah,
but
you can say you can say what you want, but realistically, at the end of the day, that's not his team. It's a mixture of the remnants of Arsene Wenger and Unai Emery. You cannot truly and properly judge a manager until he has a set of his own players, a core group of his own players, and at least a year and a proper crack at the job. And at the start of the job, he showed promising signs. It's just now those same players who let previous managers down are just going back to old habits, and they're now letting him down. And this is what I see time and time again.
My problem with saying that, though, is, for me, I don't think the Arsenal side is good enough where you want to go. But at the same time, they shouldn't be sitting in 14th. And that, for me, is on Arteta. Aubameyang, there's a serious problem with Aubameyang there, because he looks disinterested. And we joked last season that if it wasn't for Aubameyang's goals, they'd be fighting relegation. And you're seeing what's happening about his goals now. I mean, to be honest, I don't really look too much into it, because as a Leeds fan, I try not to look at the teams below us too much. I try to look up at the table rather than down. So I might be missing something. But Nath, I want to talk about Spurs briefly, because my boys on this chat laugh at them all the time. 12 years, no trophy. I'm going to come out and say it. Do you think this is the year you win something with Trophy Mourinho in charge? Do you think that ends this season?
I really, really do. But we're not going to win the league. No.
Why not? Give me a couple of reasons. Apart from the Spursy stuff, give me a couple of...
Yeah, I was going to say, my answer is just going to be simply 3 words.
Yeah.
Because it's Tottenham.
I know what you mean, but let's be real. Mourinho isn't a bottler.
No, yeah.
Give me some solid reasons.
For the last 5 years, we've played very good football and tried to claim to be one of the better teams in the league, which arguably we have been. Obviously, there was that 2-season period where, ironically, if you added everyone's points up over the 2 seasons, we'd have won the league by some distance. But it means nothing. Didn't win anything. It means, my views on this.
Yeah.
I love Poch, and I love what he'd done, and he really did turn the club around. We were that team when he came in of, we beat everyone below us. So we were like, 5th, 6th, 7th. We beat everyone below us comfortably. I'm more than happy to see us beat West Brom 4-0 and all that. But we got absolutely pummeled by everyone above us. We would go to Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and just get absolutely annihilated. And he turned us from that into title challengers. And that's fine, and that's good. But we didn't win anything. And it's why I'm reluctant to take the piss too much about Arteta, because he came in and won the first trophy that was available to him. Football is about trophies. Football is not about how you play football. It's not about, it doesn't matter that Tottenham haven't won anything because we played the best football we've played in 30 years. It doesn't matter. When I don't know, in 50 years, if we search a particular season on fucking Wikipedia or whatever, you look at who won. You don't look at who well. It's football.
I agree.
Arteta's come in and he's won the correct me if I'm wrong. I think they were already out of the League Cup when he came in.
Yeah.
He come in and he literally, to the point, won the first trophy that was available to him. Tottenham, in our supposed best 5 years, didn't win 20 trophies that were available. So sorry. Back to your question. Will we win something this year? I believe we could because, like I said, Poch took us to them heights, but Mourinho is a winner. He might be not as relevant as he was. He might not be the best anymore, but he can win with the team that we've got. So I believe. I don't want to win the League Cup. I don't want. Obviously, I can't turn my nose up at any trophy. I can't turn my nose up at the Cup. But I don't want it. I don't want after that wait to just win a League Cup because then we'll be even more of a laughing stock because everyone will just be like, you finally won a trophy and it's fucking League Cup. But if I'm honest, I think we could win either the FA Cup or the Europa League. I think and I hope. But if I'm honest, I'm just going to be gutted if the season we win something, it's when I can't go and watch it.
It would be Spurs. Let me just say, the reason why I say why not can't they win the league, because what I saw Sunday, for me, was a performance of a title-winning team. I know it was a drab 0-0 draw.
Okay.
But Mourinho,
I don't have an argument. I can't back up my statement of why we can't win the league because on the face of it, we can.
Yes, and this is what I'm saying. That game on Sunday
is because I don't want to get ahead of myself.
I do know what you mean, but that game on Sunday, there's an old saying where if you win your difficult games at home and draw your difficult games away, you'll be in with a great shout of the league at the end of the season. And that is exactly what Mourinho did. He went there to not lose that game and get a point. The old Spurs would have lost that game.
Agree. And I think the old Spurs would have lost that game. Now, on paper, we have conceded, I believe, since that West Ham game, I think we've only conceded 2 goals. So on paper, our defence is the best in the league at this moment in time. But I don't understand how. We haven't got a very good defence.
I actually think it's Højbjerg in the middle. I really do.
Yeah, mate, that enforcer.
That is why he is a Mourinho player, if you've ever heard of one.
Yeah.
And for that reason, of course, you're not going to get ahead of yourself, but I think Spurs are in with a good shout this year because Liverpool, for me, have got too many injuries at the minute.
Yeah.
They're rocking a bit. I still think they're favourites, but for me, they're not as streets ahead as they were last year.
No.
But Bradley,
obviously, 2 weeks ago, going into the international break, we were, I believe, second in the league, and I could not. And I said I'd give you an answer as to whether we're title contenders after this run of 7 games that we're currently in the middle of. And in those games, there was City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and then there's also Liverpool, Leicester, and Wolves within that run. So on Boxing Day, after Boxing Day, that's when I can give you an answer as to whether we're title contenders. But it's that run-in, if we're talking about that little run-in, it's going well. Obviously, it's, 4 points is going well.
I agree. Shifting gears to Arsenal now. Obviously, Bradley, you said at the start you don't care about this game because of the issues with the board. But realistically, where do you reckon is the gap between Spurs and Arsenal getting bigger? Is it I felt last season it closed a lot, but this season, where do you realistically think you're going to end up? Where do you realistically think Spurs are going to end up? And for you, is the gap getting bigger and it's not closing at all?
The gap's been getting bigger for, the last 4 years, if I'm honest with you. I mean, it's been in small little bits. We've had our tussles where we've won our, maybe 1 or 2 of the games in the season. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is your board is showing some ambition. They're backing their manager.
New stadium.
Yeah, exactly. And Daniel Levy is working wonders. What I would say is, what I wanted to ask you, Nathan, by the way, is do you think Poch, if he'd have been back the way that Mourinho has been back this summer, do you think that he could have gone on and done bits with the squad? Because for quite a long time, he had his hands held behind his back.
Oh,
no signings in one transfer window.
Oh, he literally had nothing. He was basically... He come in 2014 and he was working. He was essentially working with. The day he walked in, he had a first team. and he had whoever was, you know, in the academy, whatever. He basically worked with them with that. That's it. Like, pretty much. He made a few signings, which, from what I've read, weren't really his signings. So it's a bit. Now, there's a lot of sentiment at Tottenham. It's quite frustrating. I don't know if you see anything, obviously, like on Tottenham Twitter and that. There's a lot of sentiment about Poch, and people still don't like Mourinho.
I know. I've seen a bit of it.
Yeah, and so it's a little bit frustrating that he worked honestly, like miracles in that time to get that team to where they got to, and that he wasn't backed. And then 6 months after they sack him, although I do believe it was the right decision to sack him, you can't defend that start to the season. 6 months after they got rid of him, they're back in Mourinho. That's a little bit. It's a bit shit. But what I would say about that is that Mourinho has obviously come in November, and Mourinho being Mourinho, he ain't going to take a job if it ain't looking like what he wants it to be. So he would have sat down. He would have sat down and had a discussion with Levy and whoever else is pulling the strings, and he would have said, "I ain't doing nothing. I'm not coming here unless you can back me to the tune of this." These are the players. I reckon he sat there and he knew everything about Tottenham anyway. He's a football man. He lives and breathes football. I think he would have sat there and said, "This is who you need for me to challenge for this," and he would have said, He would have needed certain promises in order to take that job. So as soon as he took that job, I knew he was going to get backed, 100%. And we recruited, I would say, pretty much perfectly this summer. Possibly I would potentially have liked maybe a better backup striker for Kane. The jury's still out on this Vinicius. He scored his first couple of goals the other night.
Bale brought back in as well.
That was a nice headline, but it's not really come to anything, has it?
Do you know what the one player I've been impressed with? The one player I've been impressed with, to be fair, is Ndombele. You know how he's come on from last season. But basically, back to my point. My point is that's the difference between Spurs and Arsenal at the moment. Daniel Levy wants to win. You know, Vinay or whoever above, you know, in that board, they don't care about winning, because if they cared about winning, and look, I do back Arteta, but let's not be under any illusions here. They hired him as an inexperienced manager. That's a poor decision, first of all.
This is what I was going to say.
So that's where the no ambition is and the no balls are.
That's what I've been saying ever since.
But Kieran,
We've been saying ever since you hired him.
No. That's fair. But I saw good signs, and I still think, whether it's at Arsenal or whether it's somewhere else, I still think he'll go on to be a top manager. I really do. But right now, under these conditions, I don't think there's many managers. Maybe Poch. Poch might be the only person who has to come to Arsenal and work under these conditions and get,
because he proved that he can work under those kind of conditions with having nothing. But Arteta, I agree, and I think he will come good. I'm a big fan of all these headlines that you like to come out with.
Homeboy. Orange Peeler.
But I think he will do well in the future. But a club of Arsenal's size and where they would like to be in the table shouldn't have employed him. He's never had a job. He was an assistant, so he is essentially learning on the job, and that's not good enough for a club of that size. Learning on the job is Frank Lampard at Derby. Learning on the job is, I can't think of another.
Gerrard at Rangers.
Yes, exactly. Rangers is a big club, but potentially
Scottish
that.
league.
But learning on the job is not for a club who are wanting to go in the right direction. And learning on the job is like you're going to stand still, and it's showing now. I do think Arteta will do well, but it's not, like you said, it's not really his fault. He's come in and he's done well with what he's got. He won the only trophy that was up for grabs for him, so he has done well. But he's the board have again not backed their manager in the summer. and it's showing, and it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
If it does, it will take a long time.
I think on this case, it goes back to what I've said to Bradley ever since you employed Arteta. It was like you said, Nathan. It's the wrong job for him at the wrong time. It was a wrong hire by the board. And if the Arsenal board had any backbone, had any spine, they would say to Arteta, "Thank you very much for efforts," and go out and get Allegri. Because for me,
but this is the problem.
They need an experienced manager in there, because without an experienced manager in there,
they don't want an
experienced manager.
And this is why the board is the problem.
You're going to get voice notes from me chuckling about it, because I know with Arteta there, Arsenal ain't doing anything.
Yeah, but Kieran, the problem is those top managers like Allegri will be like, cool. Well, I want this. I want Bellerin gone. I want Xhaka sold. Yeah. I want Kolasinac gone. I want Mustafi out the door. I want Ozil gone. And the board will be like, no, hold up a minute. Hold up. No. You're asking for a little bit too much. Take your money and shut the fuck up. Exactly. You know what I mean? That's what the Arsenal board and Kroenke do. That's what it smacks of.
And that's why you're going nowhere. That's
exactly. And that's why I said the other day, until Kroenke goes, we are finished as a top club at winning top honours.
Arsenal fans were for months and months. I think they celebrated this FA Cup win, like they won the Champions League, and I sat there and said, "Relax, it's papering over the cracks because it's still Yes, I get celebrating winning a trophy, but it wasn't. It's not the league. It's not the Champions League. The problems were still there."
No, it was though, Kieran. Those celebrations were more at the fact that we had a shit season. You know, we went through 3 managers. You know, the players down tools on the first manager, never really did nothing under Ljungberg. And it took them, you know, a couple of games to even get going under Arteta. We finished the season okay, and we got, you know, we beat some decent teams on the way. You know, it was the end of the season. We were just celebrating. We were happy. You know, that's all it was. There were some that went over the top. I'll agree.
Football's about trophies. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Simple as that. But
we've got to get into the predictions for the game on Sunday. While we wrap this up, Bradley, I'm going to go to you first. Just quickly, what do you think the score is going to be? How do you see the game going? Realistically, don't be too depressed about it.
Well, I think Mourinho is going to set up completely different to how he did against Chelsea. When he plays a team that are either on his level or, you know, a little bit better in terms of quality, he'll play without the ball, put men behind, he'll look to counter. But when he's playing teams that he knows he's better than, he'll look to go for it. And I do think he'll try to go for it. I think he'll try to go at our, you know, down our right side at Bellerin and expose him. I mean, with no party in midfield, you know, maybe I had a prayer before, but I ain't even got that now without him in midfield, because it's just so, honestly, if I was predicting the scoreline, you know, my head wants to say we're going to nick it, but my heart wants to say we'll go ahead and nick it. But I just know that I think we're going to lose this game, and it will be the Mourinho factor. Forget the North London derby. This is Mourinho. This is a big game. And I think they'll win 3-0.
3-0. Nath, what do you think? I know you're always never want to get ahead of yourself. You always think for years of disappointment, don't want to say you'll win and look like an idiot. But what do you think is going to happen, and how do you think the game will go?
I'll tell you, the reason I never predict wins is because then I don't have to come into work the next day and get laughed at, because I can just say, well, I never thought we were going to win. But I'm not going to do that. I think we could go behind, and I think we'll then grow into it with 3-1. 3-1. With Arsenal's defence and Spurs' attack, it has the potential to be an absolute massacre, but it won't be. It's not going to be. It'll be tighter than that. 2-1 or 3-1. Yeah.
I actually agree. I think derby's always tight for me. I think we will see an improved Arsenal in this game, because for me they're under a lot of pressure and they have to. But their problems are still going to be the same. I think they'll improve, but their problems are still going to be the same. I don't think they'll create enough. I just think they'll be a bit more solid at the back and dig in. But I think Spurs will win it 1-0. I don't think it'll be a massacre like people are saying, but Spurs will win the game. And from there, I think it just piles more pressure on Arteta. But yeah, that's it for the FootballShock North London special. Hopefully, Spurs win on Sunday because I would just want to taste more Guna tears. That's
You ain't
it for me,
tasting no
Kolt K.
tears out here, mate. There's no emotions anymore, win or lose.
That's it for me, Kolt K.
That's it for me, Brad.
Cheers, guys.
Yes.
Pleasure.